You know, most business books, they sell you a dream, right? A clean, optimistic, step-by-step formula for success. Well, Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things, that is not one of those books. This thing is a straight-up dose of reality. So let's dive into this raw, unfiltered guide for anyone out there trying to navigate the messy, brutal truth of building something from absolutely nothing.
Right from the jump, the book hits you with this quote from Kanye West, and man, it just perfectly sets the stage. This isn't about some theoretical problem you discuss in a business school classroom. Nope, this is about the street fight of entrepreneurship, where the rules are blurry and the stakes are, well, everything.
And that really gets to the heart of what Horowitz is tackling. For those truly gut-wrenching challenges, I'm talking about firing a loyal friend, or watching your company just bleed cash, or facing down a competitor who wants to destroy you. There is no recipe. There's no playbook. And that is the hard thing about hard things.
So if there's no formula, what do you have? Well, Horowitz gives it a name. It's a universal experience for every founder, every leader. He calls it the struggle. Now, the struggle isn't just a single bad day or a tough quarter. It's so much deeper than that. It's a state of being. And what's so powerful here is that by giving it a name, Horowitz normalizes it. He's letting you know that this crushing weight, this feeling where your own self-doubt is the loudest voice in the room, that isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're in the arena, building something that actually matters.
And he does not pull any punches when he describes what it feels like. It's when you feel completely isolated, even in a crowded room. It's when you take that vacation you desperately need only to feel more trapped in your own head than before. It is a visceral, physical burden. He says it's not failure itself, but man, it causes failure, especially if you let it break you.
Okay, so how on earth do you lead when you're deep in the struggle? This brings us to one of the book's most famous ideas. You have to know what time it is. Are you operating in peacetime or are you at war?
This comparison just lays it all out perfectly. These are two totally different mindsets. A peacetime CEO, they get to focus on empowerment, creativity, expanding into new markets, but a wartime CEO has one single job: survive. They have to make brutal, unpopular decisions, they violate standard procedures, they fight for every single customer. And here's the absolute kicker: using a peacetime playbook during wartime is a fatal, company-killing error. And to show you just how extreme wartime can get, Horowitz tells this incredible story about hiring a sales chief named Mark Craney. And this quote, this was his actual message to new hires. I mean, it's shocking, right? But for Horowitz, whose company was fighting for its life, he didn't need a peacetime consensus builder. He needed a wartime general who was absolutely obsessed with one thing: winning.
So this whole wartime mindset, it flows right into Horowitz's core management philosophy. He argues that even when your back is against the wall, there's a specific order of priorities a CEO has to maintain to keep the whole thing from imploding.
And the order is beautifully simple. Take care of your people first. They'll build a great product, and that great product will generate profits. People, product, profits. But here's the twist. The biggest threat to your people often isn't some competitor across the street. It's an internal poison he calls management debt.
It's a lot like technical debt in software development. Management debt is when you take a shortcut, a quick fix that seems smart right now, but it ends up costing you dearly down the road. It's like introducing a slow-acting poison into your company's culture.
Here's a perfect, real-world example of how this plays out. A star engineer gets a big offer and threatens to leave. You panic, you need them, so you make a huge counteroffer to get them to stay. Phew, problem solved, right? Wrong. That secret gets out. First, they tell their best friend at work. Then it becomes a rumor. And suddenly, you've created a brand new, unspoken rule in your company. Loyalty doesn't pay, but threatening to quit does. That short-term fix has just created long-term cultural poison.
So, if there are no formulas and every single decision is loaded with risk, what tools do you actually have? This brings us to what I think is the most powerful and personal lesson in the whole book. Your greatest strength is hidden in the very things that make you different.
You have to understand, Horowitz himself felt like a total outsider. He grew up in Berkeley, the son of left-wing intellectuals, the grandson of actual card-carrying communists. And here he is in the hyper-capitalist world of Silicon Valley. He thought this was a liability, something he had to hide. But over time, he had this incredible realization that this background was his edge. It connected him to the very core of his own philosophy.
The idea that life is struggle wasn't just some business concept he came up with. It was literally written on his grandfather's tombstone. It was in his DNA.
And that is the final crucial takeaway from this book. Stop looking for answers in some textbook. Your secret weapon isn't a pre-made formula. It's the unique perspective that was forged by your own weird background, your own personal history, your own struggles. That's what you bring to the fight that nobody else can.
So, the book leaves us with this question. It's a challenge, really, to stop looking outside for the perfect answer and to start looking inward. What are the hard things that have shaped you? And how can you turn that struggle, your struggle, into your greatest strength?